is there another one? Oh my god. Oh. Good morning. It is currently 5:16 a.m. It took a hot second for me to get up, but I'm up and I'm here. And my face looks like I've licked salt all night. Swollen. Picked out a book that we're going to read, Surfacing, by Margaret Atwood. I want to read Margaret Atwood. I think she's going to be great in the morning. And I bought this when I was in Canada. And I want to feel close to my travels. I can't even think straight, but I'm going to use my mind. I don't even think I'm going to have coffee yet. Let's see how this goes. My goal is to read for 2 hours. Okay. Did you see that? Did you see the 7 o'clock a.m. time? Yeah, that's right. Technically, I haven't read for 2 full hours, but I'm cruising, babe. I'm cruising. I'm on page 72. Okay, that can give you a gauge of my pace. I only check my phone about 1 or 2 times. Kind of got a little lodged in there for, 5 minutes or so. So I'd say I'm doing a pretty good job. I'll tell you what the book is about a little bit later. I don't feel like doing that right now. I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place of figuring if I want to go back to sleep for an hour, which I might, because I have barely gotten any sleep. I had a really hard time falling asleep. I felt like I was waking up for a function, and if I didn't wake up by 5, I was going to miss it. So I might go back to bed for an hour or so, just prepare myself for the day, and then I'll give you a full rundown of what is happening in Surfacing by Margaret Atwood.
Hi, it's Anna from the future, and I'm just checking in to tell you that I slept for a long time after that, a really long time. Surprisingly longer than I thought possible. I thought I was fine. I thought I was adhering to my little imaginary rules that I made, that I would just sleep for an hour. Yeah, I slept for like 5 hours after that. I'm so rested. I don't really know how that happened, but I woke up confused. Because that is not what this video is supposed to be about. The whole reason that I'm doing this, waking up at 5 in the morning and trying to read for 2 hours, kind of away from my phone, just really connecting with the books, is because I feel a little guilty for spending a lot of my time reading throughout the day. I feel like I can be using my time so much wiser, setting aside time in the morning to have a clear mind and really think about the books that I'm reading without thinking about emails that I have to do, things I have to edit, the groceries that I have to buy, toilet paper that I need to purchase for the house, which I have to do today. This was what this video is about. I think it's fun also to watch people challenge themselves. I personally like watching those videos, so that's why I decided that I wanted to do it. I think it's fun and a little unrealistic, which I like sometimes. I do like it. My job is to read, so please don't feel like you have to wake up at 5 in the morning and read for 2 hours. It's quite literally my job to read books and talk about it. I'm very thankful. Thank you for being here, for allowing me to do that. And right now I'm failing at that job. I'm failing at it. But I did have a great reading morning. Oh, that's fine. All right. So why do I want to do this? Well, I already talked about it a little bit. I just want to spend time reading. I'm really fascinated by people who wake up early and dedicate a certain amount of time to doing something that they love. I also want to see if it affects my comprehension of books. I find that in the morning my mind is very clear. I used to wake up in high school and I used to write my papers in the morning before I'd go to school, and I would just zip through those things. I find that my desire to be on my phone is a lot less apparent super early in the morning. I'm struggling to just stay alive, and I feel like in doing so, I'm latching onto the words and fully experiencing the story. Completely undivided attention. And it's proving to be, I think, a pretty positive experience so far. I mean, aside from falling asleep for a long time afterward, I was in it. I also just want to try to get into the habit of waking up early. The intention is to wake up early and then stay up and then go to bed early and then wake up early again, just create that rhythm. So I'm trying to change that, trying to see if I can implement a new pattern just to spice it up a little bit. And what better way to just encourage myself to stay up than to read. And what a great book I've got. Let's talk about the book briefly because I know you're dying to know. This is my first Margaret Atwood. If you don't know who Margaret Atwood is, she's a Canadian novelist, probably best known for writing The Handmaid's Tale. Either you've read the book or you've watched the movie or you've just been in a world where that is hugely popular. You are in that world. I don't know if I'll ever read The Handmaid's Tale. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's like exactly my type of book. I appreciate the story, I appreciate the themes, but I think that surfacing might be a little bit more up my alley. This is about a young woman who travels to rural Quebec, northern Quebec, with her new partner and another couple. She is secretly exploring the mysterious disappearance of her father. Now, she has a lot of history with this place. There's a lot of people that she knows. She knows the rhythm of the land. She's a great outdoors woman, and the people with her are kind of naively following along, not really knowing the actual purpose of this trip. I got about 80 pages in. I secretly read a little bit more after I stopped filming. I am so surprised at, I'm not surprised by how great Atwood's writing is. This is great paragraphs in this, for sure. A lot of them just struck me and kind of paralyzed me, and I think this is a great book to start this experiment with because I was completely immersed in this world. I didn't think about anything else aside from staying awake and being with these characters. I think if I continue with this pattern of waking up between 5 and 7, spending 2 hours dedicated to reading, I might get, 2 or 3 books done if I'm good with it. Hi. Hi guys. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing great. I'm on day 2 of my 5 a.m. reading journey. And you know what? I did it. I did it, baby. Okay? I was up 5 o'clock, did it, read 2 hours, knocked that book out of the park. Home run, nailed it. Okay? That happened. I'm here. I'm a survivor of 5 a.m. morning journeys. I'm exhausted though. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I am pooped right now, okay? I'm not ashamed that I fell back asleep for a couple of hours, not as long as the first day. I can say that I'm moving on up in this world. And there's a whole bunch of factors that are contributing to my exhaustion. I have been going on runs a little bit later at night. Safely. I have a track and it's all well lit and it's not very far from my home and there's a lot of people there. So please be safe on your late night runs. And also thank you guys so much for your music recommendations. I've been moving and grooving and running and booping. Yeah. I've been running a little bit later, and what happens when you run later, you get energy, right? So I'm coming home, I'm cleaning, I'm cutting up watermelon, I'm doing my nails. I am alive and I can't go to bed till 12:30. That's what happened last night. I was in bed at 12:30, so that gives me, what, 4.5 hours of sleeping? I can't do that. I mean, I did it, but I care about my under eye bags. I care about the little wrinkles that'll happen if I don't get enough of my Z's and catch all of my sheep. Today, I want to stay up till I fall asleep. I don't think I'm going to go on a run because I just washed my hair and I'm going to do my hair. It's a whole thing. Had everything showered today, which means I will not be focusing on my athleticism. I finished this book. This was definitely different. This was a different read than what I was expecting, but a really great little journey into Margaret Atwood. I'm happy that I read this. I'm happy that I read this before I don't know if I will read The Handmaid's Tale. I know I said that in the beginning. I don't know if I will, but I'm happy that I read this because this was actually phenomenal writing and really introspective, really into the psychological terror of this main character, just delving into a lot of the fears that we as humans have. Executed supremely, divine. So where did we leave off with this book? I'm going to do this without any spoilers, but I'm going to try to do this as well-rounded, but still kind of vague as possible if you're interested in reading it. So we have our main character. She's on this remote island that she grew up on. She's revisiting this family home. I said originally that she didn't tell her friends that her father was missing, but I think that she did. So they all kind of know that she's mourning the loss of her father, potentially. She has all these people well, 3 people. She has 3 people in addition to her, so not all these people. She has these friends with her at this remote cabin. She's kind of entertaining them, inviting them into this life that she led as a kid. And it's all very weird. Her family is a little bit weird. She has like a strange relationship to her brother who almost drowned as a child. Her mother was kind of a character, and then her father was also kind of a character. As you progress into this novel, you start to feel it's her connection with her surroundings that is probably the main vein in her life, main part of her that's really beating through. It's her connection to her identity as a Canadian in the wilderness. There's a lot of reference to how much she can't stand the Americans coming in. She wants the integrity of the land, and that is what you find that she's really challenging against. That's kind of what this book is about in a nutshell. There's also the psychological terror of her father missing. She discovers all these weird-ass drawings, and she's thinking, oh, these are kind of like hieroglyphics that are on this cave. My father was doing research, and now I have to follow up on this research. And it's wild. I do have to say, I kept on thinking that this was kind of a little bit like an old favorite of mine, Bear, by Marian Engel. It's another Canadian classic, dare I say. I don't know which one was written first, but it's not anything like this story, really. But you can feel those feminist ideals coming through in this, about a woman's connection to nature, her very base instincts coming to life. Bear is obviously much more of like a sexual expression of it, whereas this is much more of a kind of like naked expression of it. Also, introducing some of the most abhorrent characters you can ever imagine. The people that she's on this trip with are just some of the worst people ever. There's one guy, David, who is the husband of the other woman, the other couple, who is just so almost comically written, and that's very intentional, I feel like. But goddamn, that guy sucked. But it was fun to read about him. I have to say, these 2 hours fly by in the morning. My mind isn't thinking of anything else aside from just reading these books. Just sitting, reading. I don't hear anything. The noise of my phone isn't attached to me. All I hear is slightly some birds chirping at around 6:30 when the sun starts to show its beautiful rays. That's about it. Other than that, it's just me and my book, completely immersed in it, and I love that. Do you know what that means? I think you know. Hold on. Come here. That means that Mama has got to pick a new book. Okay, I got to pick a new book, and I really don't have any plans. I knew that I wanted to read Surfacing, and I know that I'm reading Annie John by Jamaica Kincaid for my Patreon book club. Join it if you want to. So I don't want to read that yet because I like to read my book club picks a little bit later on in the month, so they're kind of fresh, so I can talk about them with whimsy and urgent glee. So today we're just gonna pick a book off of here. I don't remember how I did all these. I have like a vague idea of what books I put where, but I'm just gonna kind of go here with my eyes closed and just decide whatever book I haven't read that's closest to this. Wherever I stop, let's go 1, 2, 3. What's this? I read that. Okay. I guess it's this one? Video Night in Kathmandu. You know what? No, I don't want to do that. I'm making my own rules, okay? I want to read a fiction book. I really do. I think it's a lot more fun to do a reading vlog and talk about a fiction book. What am I going to read, baby? Ooh, what's it going to be? How's it going to be when you don't know me? I was thinking about, actually, you know what? I want to read this book.
Oh, and it was right about this time that my microphone died, but the book is Archive of Unknown Universes by Ruben Reyes Jr. I'm going back to sleep. I don't care. I didn't wake up. I didn't wake up. Shh. I didn't wake up. Tell my secret. I didn't wake up. Didn't wake up. Still sleeping. Don't tell my secret. I didn't wake up. Don't tell my secret. I didn't wake up. Sleeping. Didn't wake up. Still sleeping. The fragrance. I didn't wake up. I'll forever be known as the girl that didn't wake up. Oh my God, I'm so sorry for being a human. I already failed at a challenge that I literally just put on myself. Nobody else asked me to do this challenge. I failed at it. And I feel fine about that, honestly. My whole intention was to wake up at 6. I was like, I'm not going to do 5. I'm going to wake up at 6 because I was sleeping good, okay? I was sleeping great. I didn't go on a run yesterday. I was in bed by like 10:45, snoozing, napping, sleeping good, okay? You know when you're sleeping so good, in the middle of your sleep, you kind of say to yourself, you're sleeping so well tonight. Good for you. That's how I felt. So when that 5 o'clock a.m. alarm hit, I said, it's going to be 6. And before I knew it, it was 7:45. And that's when I eventually rolled out. And you know what? I walked to a local park and I read after that. So I still got my reading in, okay? I just wasn't doing it at 5 a.m. Sue me. Today's the only day I think that the curriculum is going to fall off. I predict that tomorrow I'm going to be back at it, because I caught up in my sleep cycle. I was really thrown off those first 2 days, really, really badly, and I feel like I'm finally alive now. Did my hair, and I feel like a fully fabulous woman now. Anyway, I started the new book, and I'll be honest with you guys. I think that was half the motivation that I didn't want to wake up, okay? I wasn't excited about it. I was very excited when I was reading Surfacing. I knew that I was going to stay awake. I knew that those 2 hours were going to flow by. This new book, I don't know. I don't even have it on me. Yeah, this one. I am, how far am I? I'm on page 59, okay? And this is not difficult text. This is big old text. So I probably should be cruising through. But I feel like my relationship with this book is very strange. I'm reading it. I'm getting the synopsis of what's going on. It feels like the words are just tumbling at me and I'm really not letting them sink in. And maybe that's me. Maybe that's a problem that is going on in my mind. But right now I'm just consuming without really tasting. The general gist, what I'm getting so far, is it's following 2 couples. You have a more modern day couple taking place in around 2018, and then you have a past couple taking place around like 1980s. You have Raphael and Nito, who are the couple in 1980s, and then the recent couple are Anna and Louise. Anna is an academic, having graduated from Harvard University, and she has traveled to Havana, Cuba, under the guise of doing research. But really, she's trying to figure out who this mysterious man was that helped her mother travel to the United States. Her boyfriend, Louis, he is kind of just tagging along. Their relationship is slightly faltering. The past couple, Raphael and Nito, they are 2 men that are kind of revolutionaries during the Salvadorian Civil War. Both of these stories are tied together by this device called the defactor, which is a Harvard University machine that helps you glimpse into life in an alternative universe. That's what Anna is using, and she's using the blueprint of the defactor to kind of help her retrace a life that she might have had. It's a lot of different moving parts, and I really am not caring
that much about these moving parts. I feel like it's taking a really long time to establish the characters, and it's doing a lot of establishing without ever really forming anything concrete, much like a lot of my reviews. So I should be in really great company. I want to really appreciate this because this is a debut novel. I'm going to give it a full, proper trial period. I'll definitely be able to finish this pretty soon. I'm probably going to read it a little bit more today, but it's not my favorite thing so far. I don't know, for some reason it's just not clicking, and I want it to click, but it's not clicking. So that's where I'm at. Failure number 1 in the video. I can do better.
I'm up. Okay. I'm up. Okay. I'm going back to sleep. Sorry, it's happening. I'm tired. But it's 6:30 right now, and I'm on page 132. I feel okay about that, but I definitely need some more sleep. I got 5 hours of sleep last night. It's hard. Old habits die hard, especially over a 4-day trial period. I'm just a human, okay? A human that needs sleep.
Is this thing on? I hope so, because we're checking in today, second to last day. Spoiler, this isn't going to be a full week. This is just going to be a Monday through Friday. Second to last day. You know what happened. I did 1 hour of reading, and I still accomplished quite a bit, so I feel fine about that. I am losing the momentum, the speed, the desire to keep going and waking up at 5 a.m. We'll get into that fully tomorrow. But I was able to read quite a bit of the book, and I feel like I did the synopsis a really bad service. I did a horrible gathering of information to display what the book is about, truly because I'm still trying to figure out the way that it's displayed on the page. It's changing narratives, it's changing universes, it's changing character distribution, like who is with who. So I am getting a little bit tangled up, but I will say, doing a little bit more research on the Salvadorian Civil War helped me piece together a lot of these things. If you don't know what the Salvadorian Civil War is, I didn't know either. It was over before I was born, and I can tell you right now, my school system really didn't do much to teach me about it. I am learning about it because of this book, so thank you, book, for teaching me something that I didn't know about. General gist was it was a 12-year war, resulted in the deaths of about 75,000 people. If you are Salvadorian, I would love to hear your interpretation of your history. I knew nothing about it. That is just a very, very brief synopsis of it. So please do your own research always. But when I did a little bit more research about it, just very briefly, I was able to understand a couple of the characters more, a couple of their motivations more. There were cultural figures that are mentioned in this that survive in parallel universes that definitely didn't survive in real life. So that helped me. I think if you don't know anything about the Salvadorian Civil War, it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to understand the trajectory of this, why these cultural events matter, what it is these people are doing. So let's talk about briefly what is going on. The character of Anna, who I talked about, and her boyfriend Louis, now she has changed into an alternate universe where she is with a different man who is named, what's his name? Domingo, and he is the cousin of Louis. So it's all within the family. You also have Nado, who is Ernesto, and Rafael. Specifically, Ernesto is a forger. He is able to forge highly specific documents that these guerrilla fighters need to cross the border to infiltrate certain areas. I'm not going to spoil it, but something happens to him. You're noticing now as the story progresses that all of these characters are interconnected. You're starting to see how the family basket is woven, how all of these family members were afflicted by the Civil War. I like the premise. I like the idea of exposing this history. I just wish this was done in a different way. It's honestly kind of hard to follow. I understand the motivation for switching the narrative, showing what could have been in a different world. I just don't know if I'm following the characters enough to understand the switches that are happening, and in my tired brain in the morning, I'm having some difficulty with it. Okay, I'm having some difficulty. I'm gonna read a little bit tonight. I don't care. I'm gonna read tonight. I'm gonna do it tonight, okay? And then hopefully I finish it by tomorrow morning, and I can give you a full ass rundown, girl, of what's going on. I am gonna be so happy when this challenge is over. I really have messed up my sleep schedule. I feel like I'm back on my partying days. Like I'm going to sleep at 5 a.m. and I'm waking up at 10, and I really don't enjoy it at all. Oh, I think you can tell just by looking at me that it's not 5 a.m. No. I look alive. I look fresh. I look happy to be here, which is a telltale sign that it is not that tricky little time, 5 a.m., okay? I'm not swollen, I don't have a gravelly voice, and I have a purpose right now. Ooh. No, this morning I didn't wake up at 5 a.m. I didn't wake up at 6 a.m. I woke up at 7 a.m. And I did that on purpose, not because I really was detesting waking up at 5 a.m., but because I don't feel like I need to do this challenge anymore. I'm happy with waking up at 7 a.m. I did the 5 a.m. just to try and see if it would be something that was feasible for my lifestyle, but I am going to bed at 11, 11:30, 12:30 sometimes, and waking up at 5 a.m. just isn't worth it for me. If that is your lifestyle, hell yeah, go for it. Good for you. I live in New York City, and I feel like life is still pumping at 10 a.m. When I go and visit my parents in upstate, yeah, I want to wake up early. I want to experience that sunrise. I want to feel that grass, that morning dew. In New York City, 5 a.m., not much going on. And it's really hard to stay motivated to not take a nap afterward. I personally am okay with waking up between 7 and 9. I think I'm doing all right with that. And I just want to make a statement saying you don't need to push yourself in a direction that doesn't feel authentic to you. Do what you're doing already. And if you want to improve, improve. I feel pretty okay with the direction that I'm going in right now. Feels worthy, and I feel good about myself.
I didn't wake up.
Anyway, I finished this book. This is kind of a perfect little button on what I just talked about with my 5 a.m. reading journey. I think sometimes if you don't need to do something, don't do it. I realized that the thing that's really throwing me off about this is the defactor, the multi-timelines going on. Feels like it didn't need to happen. I understand the statement of saying if the Civil War never happened, this couple would have been able to stay together. If XYZ didn't happen, these people would have never been affected. Of course, I understand that. But I think just the idea of doing a little too much, maybe to appease to an audience, like a sci-fi audience, or leaning into the tech advantages of today, might be what's happening here, but I don't think it needs to. I think this would have been much more effective with a linear timeline, much more effective in just really conveying the emotions and informing your audience of the toll of the war that it had on generations of people, because that's really what this is talking about. I will say this informed me about something that I didn't know about. It educated me, and I think in that sense, it's a great book to read. I think a lot of people will enjoy this book. Personally for me, I really had a hard time following the characters, and it felt kind of longer than it needed to be. So let me know. When do you read? Do you find the time to read in the morning the most necessary, or at night? For me, going outside and reading is the best part of the day, and I'm able to do it early. I'm able to do it when I want to. I don't feel obligated. I did find a sense of ease when I was reading at 5 a.m. I felt like my mind was very, very clear, but when I was reading a book that I wasn't really interested in, it just kind of made me fall asleep, which is not what you want to do when you're trying to stay up all day. So that was my little journey into challenging myself. Let me know maybe another challenge that you would like me to see. That's my Avengers cosplay. Anyway, you guys are wonderful. You're fabulous. Thank you so much for being here. Don't look at my microphone setup. I'm just a girl trying in her muumuu. I will see you.